Okay, next up we have this crazy duo, someone who's been trading and talking about NFTs regularly since 2007, starting with 0.1 ETH, and traded everything from, in his words, complete dog shit NFTs to the highest end NFTs like autoglyphs and punks. The creator of Chain Faces and Squiggly W2DF, his best trade, a doodle for 200K that he sold, a doodle alien for 200K, sold for 950K. It's pretty good. His worst trade, a crypto kitty for 600K. Oh, rest in peace. Still bag holding, still bag holding. Everyone, please welcome to the stage, Nate Alex! We also have on this panel an artist, author, and activist who dives deep into the world of NFTs, leading Web3 exploration for Obey Giant and advising Japan's Web3 fund, GMJP. He's been a professor at Japan's Keio University and co-founded the environmental nonprofit Safecast. Let's have a big welcome for Sean Bonner! Awesome. So how did you guys first get involved with CryptoPunks? Were you guys early or late? Where are we at?
Yeah, I'd say pretty early. I bought my first CryptoPunk in 2019. They'd been on my radar for a while, but it was like, they're $30 and like.
Wait, so you bought a crypto kitty before a CryptoPunk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Security.
Yeah, so back in that day, 6 years ago, CryptoKitties were like, dude, that's the shit that's gonna make you rich. CryptoPunks is like, if you can afford $30, then yeah, I guess you should grab one or two. And I mean, it was like literally like everybody who's trading NFTs was just like no money and just, I don't know, man, it's fucking $30, dude. So yeah, that's how it started. And then, after a while, it started to, I think I got up to like 70 punks. And then it just went downhill from there, fast. So, yeah.
Sean, what about you? Where did you get involved?
No, I'm definitely like a Johnny-come-lately to this, like just showed up recently. It's funny you have this perspective, right? Because like I feel like I just got here, but I meet somebody that gets here yesterday, they feel like I've been here forever. So it's all that, but I have like art and technology and all these sort of backgrounds. So I did see CryptoPunks when they were claiming. A friend of mine sent me, he was like, are you gonna grab some of these things? And I couldn't figure out how to convert Bitcoin to ETH, so I was like, oh, this is too much trouble. I just walked away from it. And then, a few years later, sort of started to see these spread of it, right? And again, with art and music, you get this phenomenology of how ideas kind of spread through culture, right? And you can see when something catches on. And so that was the moment when I started seeing a whole bunch of derivatives. I saw all this stuff, I was like, oh, wait a second, I need to pay more attention to this because this is clicking in a way that it didn't when I saw it a few years ago. And then I just dove straight in. So end of 2020, beginning of 2021 was when I really sort of like started paying attention deeply to punks.
Was there one thing that sort of like you saw where it's just like, oh wow, this is like gonna be a thing, or this is, sort of a moment where you saw the impact that you could see a future where this had like a very wide sort of like, distribution and sort of awareness?
So for me, it was probably like 2018. There was like this international team like partnering that was happening in some of the trading circles, and like for me it was beneficial to be able to trade NFTs 24/7. And again, this is for $30 or $50 or $100 or amounts that are insignificant, relatively speaking, to what it became. But it was kind of like there's the fact that you can partner with somebody in a different country, send money back and forth, and you can work together globally like that. I felt like there was something kind of big there, and then like a $69 million sale happened, and my neighbor was asking me about it, and I was like, holy shit, like, something's going on.
I think it's really hard for anybody to say, oh, I know this is gonna catch on for everybody. You know, I think anybody that says that's full of shit in a lot of ways, right? But I think it is easy to sort of notice things that's gonna catch on with a small group of people. And I think it is that when you start seeing people say, how do I bring this into my stuff, right? Like, how can I kind of play in that playground around it? How can I incorporate that? How can I be near that in some way? And you start getting those ideas. And I think that's where you can say, oh, there's going to be a small group of people who love this, you know? And so whether anybody else, it's sort of what you spoke about earlier on, right? There's like a few people that get it, and then everybody else gets it because those people get it. That's all you really need. And so when you can find something that a small group of people just absolutely love, it's worth paying attention to.
Sure. No, I think that makes sense. It's definitely, I think, interesting to me how the passion of that small group of people, you talk about the 69 million data set, that's 2 people with ape shit, and then the whole world noticed. And it's not like the whole world voted on this thing, and so it's crazy to see how those things can sort of play out and affect culture. What do you think, like, overall, just in general with CryptoPunks, is going to sort of like move the needle forward in terms of getting more people to sort of recognize the significance of this project, the value behind this project, the innovation behind this project? What do you think are some of the things that you know can do to help that?
I mean, I think time is like, it's just a natural thing that, you know, I mean, you know, there was kind of a mania over there, $500,000 a piece. That made people give a shit. I wore a CryptoPunks shirt to an Ethereum conference in early 2020, and not a single fucking person there was like, cool shirt, dude. Like, or maybe they just didn't want to talk to me, but like, it was weird to be at an Ethereum conference with a bunch of developers, a bunch of people deep in this space, not even recognize NFTs. So it just takes time. It takes more people like understanding, and like, and a lot of that does come with like the money, the numbers that you see on the TV, the media pumping it and shit. And you know, when that happens again, more people will give a shit again. But each time you end up with a larger snowball, and you end up with more people that see something of substance underneath.
John?
So I think the art is attractive to a group of people. There's the money piece that's attractive to a group of people. But when you get outside of like basic necessities, I think that what gets large groups of people is stories. And I think that that's where the next piece of this, I think that certainly we're seeing it already, the next group of people that are paying attention to punks, and I think that's where the spread is going to be, are people who find stories that they connect to, and they see stories that mean something to them, and then they can dig into it, and it's not just an object, right? There's like a whole thing around it, and they can tell somebody about it, right? And they can spend time reading about it and learning about it and sharing those stories with other people. And so I really do think it is those narratives, the different people involved, because it's only been a few years, but there are so many deep, incredible stories in the whole CryptoPunk, greater community that I think that's what's really going to continue to like bring more and more people into the fold.
What are some of the stories, or what is one story or something that you've heard that you kind of like tell people, or like how do you explain this to people who don't get this at all, don't understand why you give a shit about this? Like, is there any way that you have that sort of like can kind of be that aha moment for them?
I guess, for me, starting with NFTs in 2017, it was literally just like, how can I make an extra $20 this week? And, that was kind of where it started. I think that that's probably true for most people in here, maybe not $20 that they were hoping for, but like for the most part, people hear about this thing and you can make some money, and that's what it kind of draws them and attracts them to it. Not really sure what this has to do with your question or why I'm even talking about it. I drank a little bit. I'll leave that. So, I think what draws people is the money. But once you're here, you can kind of get it. I think that the first time you sell an NFT and it happens automatically and you realize that I didn't have to go to Facebook Marketplace and list it and then hope somebody bought it and then deliver it to them, and all of this friction that doesn't exist with NFTs. You have $1 million NFT, you don't need to find a buyer for it if it's actually worth that. You just list it for $1 million and it'll be gone the next day. You can't do that with real world physical assets. You have to use auction houses. That's why Sotheby's exists. I mean, so there's definitely something that reduces the friction there, and I think that that's a big, a big case, really.
I mean, I really am not good at telling somebody why they should care about something.
Sure.
Right? But I'm really good at talking about why I care about it, and I find the things that I love about it. So when someone does ask me about CryptoPunks, depending on what that person is, I can sort of know, oh, this is the sort of thing that they're interested in. I can talk for hours about, of the pixel placement of this thing. I can move it over and it changes the whole feel of it. I just love that aspect. I can talk about the different people that have been involved with it. There's so many, it's impossible to say, here's the story, but there are so many stories and they're just so beautiful that you can go forever.
Were you guys involved in art before this? Did you collect art? Was it something that, was a part of sort of your life, or is this a new sort of mode for you?
No, I'm a poser.
I don't think it's a poser at all. I think this is a new medium that spoke to you and your interests, and I think that's true for a lot of people here.
I would say that, so with autoglyphs, I sold my last one for a significant amount of money, but the decision at the time was am I a high-end art collector now? Is that who I am? And I had weighed out well, this is a shit ton of money, and now I regret it anyways. But so I think that it's kind of leaked in there naturally. I bought a ton of NFTs. I spent a lot of money back in NFTs from money that was made from selling actually good ones, like lots of pumps and autoglyphs. But I enjoy the process now. I just wasn't previously a collector.
Yes, to all of the above. So I was a creative director at a record label for many years. So I was working with artists. I ran an art gallery for about 10 years, co-owned an art gallery, and that was in the late 90s. So I worked with a lot of artists who became much larger in their very early days. So Shepard Fairey and Space Invader and Glennie Friedman, these people that now are monstrous, but at the time there wasn't a lot of people who knew who they were or what they were up to. So that's been something that I've always been it's been a very close piece to me. And so when I left the art world, that was when I got much more involved with technology. I'd always been a piece of it. But then I started doing blockchain stuff with universities and stuff. And so that was actually what sold me on the NFT thing, was these two pieces of my world coming together, right? I was my art friends are going to need to understand what blockchains are, and my blockchain friends are going to need to understand how artists think, because none of that's going to make sense at face value to them.
Do you see any parallels between sort of the moment, that's happened over the last few years, and graffiti, which, again, was looked at in one way, and then we woke up and we looked at it a different way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that all of this boils down to a handful of people doing the thing they love without caring if anybody else gives a shit about it, right? And I think that with a lot of what we saw in Web 2 was people trying to convince everybody here why my thing is so fucking special, and you have to pay attention to me, and I'm better than everybody, all of that, right? And with Web 3, we've gone back to what I think graffiti days, Web 1, all of that stuff where it's just this is a cool thing and I'm gonna do something cool that I love with it, right? And maybe you end up seeing my thing and think that's cool, right? But that gives me a level of freedom and excitement and an ability to do stuff that you could never do when you're trying to convince everybody else how awesome it is, right? And so I think that that's what you see a lot with graffiti thing as well, right? I'm gonna do my thing, I'm gonna perfect it to the point where I absolutely love it, and then I'm just gonna go stick it places in the middle of the night, and maybe somebody else will see it later and they'll like it, maybe they won't, it doesn't matter, because I did the thing that I wanted to do.
For sure, for sure. How do you think, how have you, nah, I'm not gonna say it. We're gonna get straight to it. What is going to get us out of this goddamn bear market? We're gonna fix it right fucking here. You guys are gonna fix it. Nate Alex, what's gonna fix it?
You know, what I usually say is just the simple kind of thing is, so, I mean, it's literally the most generic bullshit answer, but it's the Bitcoin, the cycle of Bitcoin, it just has happened.
So you think Bitcoin? Bitcoin's gonna save it, Bitcoin pumping again?
So the way it works, historically, and you don't have a huge sample size by any means, but once Bitcoin gets kind of naturally back, because there are people who will just die rather than sell their fucking coins, so they're never gonna sell below a certain price. It eventually kind of picks itself back up, and then the media starts giving a shit about it again. They say, Bitcoin back from the dead, and they say this shit, and then Bob at work, he makes $100, and he tells all his fucking friends at work, and they're like, oh my god, dude, you're Bob, you made $100 on Bitcoin. And then they fucking do it, and they tell their grandma, and it just happens over and over fucking again. So, you know, that happens, the media tells people, they go, oh, I'm late to Bitcoin, I'm gonna buy Ethereum. And then they go, oh, I'm late to Ethereum, I'm gonna buy shitcoin, I'm gonna buy NFT, and then here we are.
There it is. Sean, any other?
I mean, no, come on, that was the perfect answer. There's the solution right there.
There it is. I think that's how we got it. Well, we're out of time, guys. Thank you very much. Hey, Alex and Sean,